Williams.
in Las Vegas at the Showboat Invitational. 25-year-old Ron Williams, first shot. That's them all.
Ron Williams switched to
Pressure is off somewhat on the non-winner, Ron Williams. And here is Voss with a 220 to Ferraro's 198, looking for his third win in a 5-year career.
Brian Voss, who learned to bowl in his father's bowling establishment in Anchorage, Alaska. His dad was a career Army man who managed the bowling center up there.
Uh-oh.
How to be greeted, 4, 6, 7, 10.
Big
The
four.
story at the Quaker State Open 1987 version is the right-hand lane. Can anybody hit the right-hand lane? Voss is up quickly just to try to knock off 2 pins here.
Uh-oh.
Big mistake right there. Never give away a pin early in the match.
And he knows it.
Just throws the ball very hard. He tries to actually bounce the 6 and 10 pins out to knock out the 4-7. Takes an early gamble. I don't think it's worth it that early in the match. Voss needs a win to qualify for the Firestone, as does Ron Williams. Mark Baker, who made the top 24 this week, will be out.
Good comeback, second frame. And with a strike up, Ron Williams, the tournament leader. Least he can do today is win 14,000. More important is a victory.
Ron, who still bowls in league in the St. Louis area, he's from Cahokia, Illinois, which is just across the Mississippi River. Bowls in league with his team at home when he's off the tour, and does a great job.
Oh.
The most unusual style of Williams, leaving a 2-5. Almost looks like he's trying to throw a screwball in baseball. Watch.
Very true, Chris. Watch how he takes that ball outside, but now he rectifies the whole swing as he drops that right shoulder and arm right next to his hip and releases the ball in perfect position.
Oh.
Error number 2. 1 for each bowler now.
And there is Josephine Williams, Ron's mother, who Chris survived a severe automobile accident last year, and she told me when she flew down here she has steel plates in her knees, steel plate in her shoulder. And I says, how did you get through the letter detector? She says, they had to put me on the conveyor belt to get me through. Hoping that her son can win his first PBA title.
We're glad with that camera shot that erased some of the tension off her face.
Go. 9-10. Uh-oh.
Little 9-10.
A tentative Ron Williams in the early going here has gone high on the left-hand lane, has left the 9-10 split. The ball crosses to the left side of the head pin and just kind of pushes the 8 pins on the left side of the lane down, leaving the somewhat easy split, if there's such a thing, the 9-10. He needs this to stay in the lead.
Oh.
And again, a chop. Back-to-back open frames, 37 through the third for Williams, the tournament leader. Voss leading by 10, can increase it to 20. The strike here in the third. It's our final match in the Quaker State Open.
Who can hit the right-hand lane? Voss struggling. Let's see if he's made an adjustment.
Another 2-5.
Now, what do? You're up here bowling a championship match. You've won one game. You come up, you throw the ball. What you feel is pretty good, and it goes high. You leave a split. You get a strike on the left-hand lane. You make the adjustment. Now you're light. What I would do, experienced top pros would do, was go back to where they left the split and throw the ball as hard as they can. They only have 3 frames left on this lane.
Brian Voss, if you just joined us, got into the finals with a victory over Dave Ferraro, 220 to 198. Brian Voss from Grand Junction, Colorado.
One of the keys that a player must work with is when he's having trouble with one lane, don't lose the other lane. Voss must concentrate on keeping lined up here on the left-hand lane. Good shot.
He struck from the floor.
Gone through 3.5 frames in our championship match with Voss in the lead by 10. We'll be back. Ron Williams trailing by 10, opened with a strike, has 2 open frames now, shooting in the 4th against Brian Voss. Beautifully done. More like it for the 25-year-old from Cahokia. They're descendants of the legendary Jim Thorpe. His son, Bill on the right, and Billy Jr. on the left, who carried the flag at the '84 opening ceremonies along with the granddaughter of Jesse Owens, Gina Hemphill. Glad to have them here.
The father and grandfather, as many people well know, considered to be one of the greatest athletes of all times. Ron Williams, 5th frame, can even the match with a strike.
Beautiful. And next week, we will again renew a friendship with a man with a different kind of swing, Don Carter at his lanes.
Will be a Don Carter Kendall Lanes for the Miller Lite Classic as we see a great break for Ron Williams. He crosses over in the left-hand lane instead of getting the 9-10 split. He makes a little wilder shot and gets rewarded a strike. Now, Brian Voss, the more experienced of the 2 players, what is he going to do on the right-hand lane? If he moves to the right, uses a lot of speed, he can win the match.
As he did in his previous victory.
Just what he does, moves the ball out to the right, a little less hook, drives the 5 into the 4-7 zone. We have a match.
Spring weather the day before spring, Karen. If you like it warm.
Now, Brian Voss is a funny kind of match player, Chris. When he's way ahead, he seems to fall asleep. When he's behind, he becomes very aggressive. That's just his personality, a nice, easygoing guy, but he has to get a little tougher out here on the lanes. Right now, he has a 10-pin lead.
Stay
Voss. Be back into the Firestone Tournament of Champions the end of April. Brian Voss. 3 in a row.
Well, do as I do. And here he goes, crosses over the left side of the head pin, the same thing that Ron Williams did. Has this 6-pin tripped out by the 3-pin. What a terrific break. The difference between winning and losing in a pro tour often comes down to who gets the breaks. Williams now needs another strike.
A little high, not crossing over, leaving the 4 on the right lane.
Ron Williams cutting high on the right-hand lane. Watch the 10-pin. Almost stands up. There's the action. The 3 and 6. Bump out the 10 is left a simple spare. The 4-pin. Ron will trail by 21 pins.
And thus far this year, 4 tournaments. This is the 5th. We've had 2 first-time winners in Del Ballard and Kent Wagner.
We'll talk about that in the 7-day forecast.
Ron's mom.
Just a few minutes. Aliana and Alicia.
Ron Williams, who is always bold in the St. Louis area, has won a couple of PBA regional titles, the Midwest region being one of the 7 regions of the PBA where players compete in weekend action. And, of course, the Midwest, one of the toughest regions in the country, Chris.
It's real seasoning, isn't it?
That's for sure. Let's see how he adjusts this left-hand lane.
Ron strikes.
Offing that ball out of the lane. And strike in the 7th.
Reminds me of Gabe Brewer of golf. He takes that swing back in kind of a funny motion, but watch here. He straightens everything out, tucks that arm swing down right next to that right hip, and rolls just a beautiful shot. He starts a little different, but he gets the job done. Ron Williams. Now Voss in the driver's seat. Let's see if he can step on the gas.
Four-bagger. There are a lot of feminine voices cheering in the background for this young man.
Voss with the opportunity to take a big lead, drives the 5 over to the 4-7 zone. See that 5-pin just snap out the 7? Voss has a 31-pin lead. He likes it.
Investigators say the shooter fired shots at the vehicle the 17-year-old victim was in as it sped away.
Now, is he going to give Ron Williams a chance? If he doesn't strike here, Ron Williams can get right back in the match.
A 10.
getting a more detailed
Stubborn
description
thing.
of the shooter's vehicle. The vehicle we're looking for, the registration is a dark
Last year,
color SUV.
frustration. Fourth 3 times, second
Eastbound
once, third
from
twice.
58th Street
In 6
on Baltimore
finals.
Avenue. When it comes to trying to get a
Voss
better
across
description of
lane,
that vehicle,
using that
investigators
extreme
do
left-hand
have
angle
real-time
over the third
crime
arrow from the
cameras
right-hand
in that
channel.
area that they will be checking as
Conversion
well.
here, he would
They're
lead
telling
by
us the
30 pins.
17-year-old who was shot in the shoulder is stable. Reporting accurate police headquarters told Davis Channel 6
Spurs in the eighth.
Boy, thank you so much for that update. Now, there are new developments this morning in efforts to bring an end to the war in Ukraine.
Next week we'll be
Ukrainian
down to
President
Don
Volodymyr
Carter's
Zelensky
Kendall
says he
Lanes,
plans to
where
speak with President
I
Donald
understand
Trump
there's a
today,
lot of
following
Pro-Am
Trump's
spots
call with
left
Russian
available where the
President
amateurs
Vladimir
can
Putin yesterday.
be
During that
partners
call,
with
Putin
the
agreed to a
pros. We have
temporary halt in
1,500
attacks
Pro-Am
on
entries
energy
here in
and
Dallas.
infrastructure
Great
targets
opportunity
in
for the
Ukraine.
amateurs to bowl with the
Zelensky
pros.
said
Here's
today
Ron
that
Williams,
Putin's promises
8th frame.
Needed that double, leaving the 2-5-8. And in that avenue field, some mean professional wrestlers.
Zelensky says he wants to discuss the details of the next steps.
That's here in Texas, not down there in Florida. As Ron Williams needs this strike here in the 8th, leaves the 2-5-8 by no means an easy spare at any time. In this situation, it's critical that he makes this.
Netanyahu says the strikes are only the beginning until necessary conditions to free hostages.
Spurs in the
Israeli
eighth.
defense official called the renewed attacks a different form of negotiating with the talks on the second phase of the
We
ceasefire
continually
stall.
talk about the 9th frame as being the important foundation frame, and if you look at the scoreboard, you can see why. If Williams does not strike here in the 9th frame, Voss can get up there and just shut him out. If Williams gets himself a strike right here in the 9th, he still keeps pressure on Voss and has a chance to win the match.
Action News reporter Catherine Scott has the latest details on this investigation from Hunting Park. Detectives here at the Special Victims Unit are working this case, trying to identify a man who see this ready. I think it was terrifying.
Pressure
Enough
shot.
bet
And you saw the
to
pressure on the face of Brian Voss waiting.
Philadelphia last week, leaving neighbors here.
Ron Williams, the last time he had a chance to really show his stuff was in the Showboat Invitational 1986, where he threw 4 strikes in a row to knock Bernie Schlegel out of the top 5. So we know that Ron Williams can do it. Let's see if Voss can put the pressure on Williams. He needs 2 marks to win the tournament. Anything less, Williams can still win.
That was basically it.
One neighbor said she didn't think much of it when a man showed up at her door with the 2 kids. Didn't even look. First one to
And another bucket.
Bucket. 4-5-8.
Well, he didn't hit the nose. That's been the undoing of most of the players, so he's left himself a spare that he's converted very well so far today. But once again, nobody wants to shoot the 2-4-5-8 bucket in a tough situation. That's what faces Brian Voss right here.
So things like that bring bowling fans back to try it again. You're just full of surprises.
That's for sure.
A few hours later, the same man with the same two children to police.
All right. And if you just joined us, last week's hero, Pete McCordick of Houston, who shot the perfect 300 game and $100,000, finished 42nd here.
A court hearing is scheduled for today relating to the potential
McCordick,
hospital closures in the Crozer
once again,
Health System in
almost made the
Delaware
top
County.
24. As
A
you
bankruptcy
see,
judge in
Voss,
Dallas,
he
Texas,
wants
is
this
expecting
spare.
an update
Very
on
important.
efforts to find a long-term
Now,
solution
for
to the
Brian
crisis.
Voss, a trip to the Firestone is
State and county
simply
officials recently sent
getting a
$20
mark in the
million
10th frame. He
lifeline
would
to
shut
keep
out
Crozer
Ron
Chester
Williams. If he
Hospital
opens,
in
Williams
Upland
can win the
and Taylor
tournament.
Hospital in Ridley Park open in the short term. Pennsylvania officials are going to free.
Left at the 3-pin.
3-pin looks awfully lonely and small.
That's for sure. Well, Brian Voss didn't slam the door in Ron Williams' face, but he sure has a foot inside the door. He must convert this spare and get just 6 pins on the last ball. This is for the win.
Positions and also restructure into a junior high school model. District officials blamed the $884,000.
Brian Voss of Tacoma, where we started our 26th year of the Professional Bowlers Tour, the United States Open, won by Del Ballard.
6 pins. How do you get 6 pins? What I would do is go right for the pocket. Don't be tricky. We've seen players get fancy and get 5 in this situation. That's the way, Brian. Right up there for the 1. That's a winner.
Got 7. Which is
There you
enough.
are. Got 7. Leaving 3.
Great match.
Still away. Brian
Like and
Voss
subscribe.
wins his